CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to another opening night. And this one is sort of a Patreon sponsored review sort of thing. I actually got this sent through me through the fan mail stuff, and but I do kind of count it as a request, because if I get movies through the mail that people want me to watch on DVD and whatnot, I will probably review it just out of like sort of a token of gratification for sending me fan mail and so on. But if you guys want me to do Patreon theme requests, link down below. You can go support us there. Just $1 more will get you access to all of our content with as well as other special features. And the $5 a month donations, you can request a movie for me to talk on an opening night. I am doing this setup that I usually use for my anime vlogs because I kind of like the aesthetic. It looks a little better for these sort of vlog reviews, essentially. But for this opening night, we're doing a movie that it's kind of a throwback Thursday anyway, to a film that I haven't seen since it came out in theaters like 20 years ago. Like, this came out in 2002. That, of course, being Dreamworks' Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's funny with this movie because I had completely forgotten about it. I have completely forgot about this film, what it was about, because I remember the trailers essentially grabbing me, because I remember the teaser trailer that just showed the horses galloping through the fields, and then they played the same music from the Angels in the Outfield trailer, which is a sports movie that I think is very underappreciated. But the teaser kind of got me, and that was most DreamWorks movies, is that they got me, and then I see them, and then I never see them again. Same thing with Road to El Dorado. That has actually kind of resurfaced on my radar lately, and I did talk about it on Twitter. I've thought about really discussing that film. But anyway, so a fan had sent me this DVD version of the movie, which actually came in sealed, so thank you. It wasn't a used DVD, but he did put on it, Academy Award nominee for Best Animated Feature. Wait, really? No, wait a minute, was it? Probably 2003, yeah, because Shrek was the first one to win for 2001. That was the first one. I think this actually, did this lose to Spirited Away? I can't remember. Let me know in the comments, because I can't remember what year Spirited Away came out. That's a great fucking movie. But Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, different spirit kind of movie. What's it about? Well, the best way I can describe this movie is that there's not really much of a script. There's not much. They kind of just winged it half the time. The basic version of the story is, it's Bambi. It's a coming-of-age story. It's Bambi, but with horses in the 18th century. Kind of Bambi meets Dances with Wolves in a way. Basically, there's this horse who doesn't speak. There's actually, I'll give it prop. Like, I'll bring this up later, but he's narrated by Matt Damon. And I was like, what? Matt Damon's in this movie? I had no idea. But yeah, Matt Damon's in the movie. He does the narration for the horse, and there's a few other characters that he bumps into on his journey. He gets separated from his family, and he's eventually sold to a fort place in the Old West, and there's like a colonel guy who I think is voiced by James Corden. I saw him in the credits. I think he was the farmer in Babe, who is trying to break the horse, and then the horse finds a native tribe, friends a female horse, which I'll discuss the problems with that with the cover, especially later. Coming of age story, a couple adventures, a couple cool action sequences, all throughout, all put together with a musical score by Hans Zimmer and an album by Bryan Adams. So you can kind of see why this movie kind of just came and went, not just on my radar, but a lot of people seem to have forgotten about this movie. It's mostly because there really isn't much of a story. There isn't much story. It felt like half the time they just winged the plot, put a bunch of pretty images and animation in front of the screen, and then pretty much timed it to a Bryan Adams album that probably just came out when the movie came out, and just said, Katzenberg was like, there's our movie. Just slap it in theaters and see what happens. And I remember it kind of got a bit of good audience reception when it came out. I remember the press trailers were all about, like, the one scene with the little native girl and she cries and the horse cheeses it up and it's like, bye-bye, horsey. Like, that's the only thing even I remember from the movie. I don't remember a single thing about this film. But looking at it again from fresh eyes, especially as a 29-year-old compared to a 9-year-old, or 8-year-old, it was okay. it wasn't really anything much to talk about. I know a lot of people like this movie, and I know a lot of people know about, oh, there's a Netflix show that continues it. I just don't care. I just don't care. It's just not my cup of tea. If you like this movie and all the weird animated horse things out there, I get ya. I understand. But it's just not my thing. And it's not something I can really get used to. In fact, if you want to know what my favorite horse thing is, where is this fucking thing? This is my favorite horse movie. The Last Unicorn. This movie rocks. In fact, I want to talk about this at some point. Last Unicorn is my favorite. I do like Hidalgo, but when it comes to other stuff, it's just not my thing. Especially animated movies. And I think that is the film's biggest flaw, is that there is no script. It's just, they winged it. It was like, I feel like there was a concept and an idea at the Dreamworks animation studio that they were trying to do something a bit more experimental. That's one thing I will give Dreamworks major credit on in its early days with its 2D animated features, is that they had balls. They took risks. They weren't like normal Disney movies. They actually took Disney movies and gave it a bit more. I think they actually aimed it more towards adult audiences. These weren't really necessarily children's movies, even though Katzenberger had, I called him Katzenberger. Katzenberg had pretty much tried to aim them at kids to compete with Disney because he couldn't get the spot. But basically, that's the only problem too, is that they do try to aim it more for an adult audience, but half the time they're just butchered because they want to be Disney, and they can't. I mean, even Road to El Dorado got Elton John to do the music, and in this one they got Bryan Adams, I guess because, you know, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves did well, and then Disney did Three Musketeers, and his song in that movie did well. Now they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get different artists for different movies. I mean, even, I think, I don't even remember who did Prince of Egypt or anything, but anyway, again, I just really don't have much to explain about this one. It's just a simple movie, and it's a movie we've seen dozens of times. It's Bambi. It's Dances with Wolves. It's, a movie that has horses with too much human features, and the females, half the time, they have this look. I mean, look at this cover. I don't want to get too much into it, but do you see the eyeliner they put on on these female horses? Half this movie, there is so much innuendos in this film that I was watching it with a friend, by the way, Dova Jess on Instagram, and we were just laughing our asses off. We were kind of riffing it. But half the time, I was watching this movie, and I see these suggestive horse faces and just the way they animated them, and I'm just like, stop it! Stop it! You know, it's like, it's just not a thing that I'm really into. I'm sorry, guys. I know how much you guys want me to try to understand, you know, essentially the brony culture, the horse culture. It's just, when I like horses. Don't get me wrong. I like to go horseback riding. I took 10 years of experience. I do that. I want to incorporate them into my projects for, like, action scenes and so on. But when it comes to the whole thing, the fandom of it, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. And this movie did not really help. Again, there's no plot. There's no story. Again, a couple things that this movie actually did that I liked. The animation's really good. I'll say that for one. I really appreciate 2D animation, especially since it's an extinct art form. But at the same time, it's just, again, no story. But it is pretty. It is a very pretty looking movie. I do appreciate the visual aesthetic of the film. I do like also that it was in like a super mega scope widescreen. It wasn't like a open matte widescreen. It was a much more of a bigger aspect ratio to give more of a cinematic experience. The only thing I will say is the CGI horses do not age well at all. They're pretty bad. So there's that. And on top of that, another thing I'll give this movie credit, not much in the way of the horses don't talk. This isn't like your typical animated animal movie where the animals talk and like they speak and stuff and comedy and so on. They actually did take some risks with this one by pretty much trying to tell the entire story through a visual aspect. And I kind of loved it for that it was told visually. I like movies that can tell its story without having to force dialogue. You can pretty much get the idea in your head, what's going on, and it just adds up. I think it gives for a much more amazing experience, especially if you can do it with an animated movie. I mean, I'm even one of those advocates who thinks Land Before Time, had Universal maybe considered at some point doing a live-action remake to kind of cash in on the Lion King Disney thing, Make it live action, but don't have the animals talk. Don't have the dinosaurs talk. If you could tell it through visuals with the effects and the rescored music by James Horner, you could get the point across. I think it would be pretty freaking ballsy. But that is one of the biggest strengths of DreamWorks anime movies. They got balls, especially the early ones, that they didn't aim it towards the kids. They tried to aim it for not just a family audience, but more of an adult crowd. So I do appreciate it for that. But aside from that, not much. I'm sorry, again. It's one of those movies that just kind of came and went, and you can see why. It was kind of bland with its story. It didn't leave much of an impact. I know there are fans of this, but it's just not my cup of tea. But I will give it credit. The animation's nice, the score is nice, and the music by Bryan Adams is actually pretty good. I mean, I'm Canadian. We constantly either apologize for Bryan Adams on several occasions, or we do just like his music. But it's funny, because my parents in the 80s had actually worked with Bryan Adams in the music industry. But to the point, Spirit Stallion of the Seminar, it's okay. And I won't say it's a bad movie by any sense, and I don't mean to trash it as much, but it's just not my cup of tea. The animation's gorgeous, the voice acting, whatever there is okay. The music's good, it's got its moments. I think it's one of those movies where I remember the trailer more than I do the film. So I'm going to give this about a 5. It's very 50-50. It's got great visuals, but lacks story. So there's Spirit. Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments section below. And, yeah, I'm gonna try to come and do more of these requested reviews. I've got one more movie here on my shelf that I was sent to by the fan that I'm probably hopefully gonna cover next time, and you guys will know my thoughts on that. And, but let me know your thoughts on Spirit in the comment section below. And again, if you want to request an opening night, go to our Patreon. If you donate $5 a month, you can get a request of your choosing once a month. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. It's BigJackFilms signing off, saying... Female horses with eyeliner. Stop it!